There was a massive Russian drone attack against Kiev on Monday morning. According to different sources, Ukraine managed to shoot down 10, 20, up to 37 Iranian Shahed 136 drones, but some managed to get through. The fact about these drones is they are very slow and they make a very distinct sound, like an old Soviet motorcycle. They can be shot down with assault rifles if you concentrate fire enough into one drone. We actually have a video of Kiev police shooting down one of these drones with Kalashnikovs. The whole city of Kiev was filled with assault rifle fire. Everybody who had a gun, military or police or a civilian with a weapon, they were all shooting down these drones, in addition to the air defense systems. Talking about Iran, they're supposedly giving Russia cruise missiles. According to United States intelligence, Iran is preparing the first shipment of Fateh 110 and Solfagar cruise missiles to Russia. Both of these are Iranian short-range ballistic missiles with a range of 300 and 700 kilometers respectively. The fact that Russia is buying these missiles from Iran shows us that they are running out of missiles in Russia. They cannot produce any more due to sanctions. The sad part is that Iran has a lot of these missiles and a lot of the drones they are sending to Russia. If this deal goes through, Russia has a lot more missiles. My heart goes out to all of these families in Ukraine who lost somebody with these attacks. Ukrainians sent a few drones over the border to Russia, Belgorod. Two Russian S-300 anti-air systems that protect that city shot down these Ukrainian drones. That was exactly what Ukraine wanted, because in a few moments, two HARM missiles knocked these very same S-300s out cold. This is a video from the attack. We now know that S-300 cannot intercept a HARM missile. They both tried, they shot their missiles into the air, but they missed or couldn't find the HARM missiles. Then a few seconds later they were destroyed. Ukraine baited Russia to shoot down their cheap drones to, in return, destroy insanely expensive S-300 systems. My friends, today we actually have a sponsor. When I do research about these videos, I sometimes have to visit sketchy sites that are definitely trying to steal my data or IP. This is why I use Atlas VPN. It is dead simple to use and it works perfect. Just open the VPN, select a server and connect. Right now Atlas VPN is running a huge discount. It means that you can get a 3-year subscription with only $1.99 per month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Time is running out, so click the link in the video description below. This is the best VPN deal on the market. Keep your Google searches in private. With Atlas VPN you can search the web with real and organic search results and do it without anyone tracking your activity. This is hugely important when visiting lesser known sites or foreign sites like I do when researching these videos. Stop ads and malware. Atlas VPN is more than just a VPN. It blocks all the malicious links, ads and trackers and notifies you when someone is trying to steal your data. Protect unlimited devices. Yes, Atlas VPN protects all your devices with just one subscription. You can get a 3-year subscription with only $1.99 per month with 30-day money-back guarantee. Time is running out, so get your deal by clicking the link in the description below. We have Telegram reports from the Russian side actually that state that Ukrainians have liberated Kuzimiefka. This is a settlement north from Svatove and it needs to be taken if you wanna surround Svatove from the north side. Let's jump to the military map and look at the situation. This here is Svatove. This is the next big goal, big target for the Ukrainians. They need to take this settlement or surround it if they want to penetrate deeper into the Russian-held territory. And to take Svatove, you need to take the settlements around it, and this is where Kuzimiefka comes into play. Svatove is here, and from Svatove to Kuzimiefka is 16.2 kilometers. See, this here is Kuzimiefka, a small settlement. If Ukrainians indeed are in this settlement, we can only follow this road and we can assume that Ukrainians might want to cut around Svatove from the north and perhaps make the same pincer movement from the south, connecting these two parts surrounding Svatove. This is all speculation. We don't have any information about any of this. What we do know is that Ukraine avoids urban warfare to avoid any unnecessary losses. So if they want to take Svatove, they probably have to surround it, leaving just a small opening for the Russians to pull out. Russians actually have been making some counterattacks here, as you can see the arrows show it also. How are they able to do it? Because the Russian freshly mobilized and the convicts by the thousands have been arriving in the front lines, bolstering the troops, bolstering the lines, and they're able to send some cannon fodder out in the fields. And this is what we're seeing here and near the Severodonetsk front. This is Bakhmut. This has been the target for the Russian forces for the past 3 to 4 months, and they have been very slowly pushing. This is the only area where they never stopped pushing. They want to take this settlement. This is a political goal coming straight from Putin. And they might be able to take this settlement. Ukrainians abandon ground if it means saving the lives of their troops. They have been doing this before, and Bakhmut might face the same situation. Russians are, as of now, very close, 2 kilometers to the border of the city. So in the coming weeks, we will see if Ukrainian forces will pull out of Bakhmut. In the southern front, we have telegram information that Ukraine is preparing to push towards Milove. Recently, Ukraine also made a small penetration into this area here. Let's talk about Elon Musk's Starlink and Ukraine. Ukrainian army is actually very dependent on the services of Starlink. That puts Elon Musk at a very powerful position. Ukrainian army has been using Starlink for very good effect, and now Elon Musk has stated that the company cannot pay for this service in Ukraine anymore, and they would need an additional 124 million to provide Starlink to whole of Ukraine for the rest of 2022. It all started with this tweet. Redo elections of annexed regions under UN supervision. Russia leaves if that is the will of the people. Crimea is formally part of Russia, as it has been since 1783. Water supply to Crimea assured. Ukraine remains neutral. Elon cannot play God here. We're talking about the future of an entire people, entire culture, Ukraine. I don't think Elon can make that decision. And Ukrainian ambassador Andriy Melnyuk made sure Elon knows this by stating, "Fuck off" is a very diplomatic reply to you, Elon Musk. Starlink now works for the Ukrainian army only if they apply for it to work in a very specific area. So they have to bring Starlink on board with their mission command, which is very bad because this is a private company. They would know where Ukraine attacks, where they defend, where they have their plans laid out. It's very bad for Ukrainian army, so I do hope United States government settles this. I will let you decide whose game Elon Musk is playing. After finding out that Iran is preparing the first shipments of ballistic missiles to Russia, Israel has something to say about this. Israeli minister says that the time has come for Ukraine to receive military aid from Israel, the same way it has received it from NATO and USA. Well, Iran is the biggest adversary to Israel in the region and in the world, so if Iran is on the Russian side, Israel will be on the Ukrainian side. This is very important because one of the most important military wings in Ukraine right now is air defense, and Israel really knows something about air defense. They have the Iron Dome system, which has been defending Israeli cities very effectively for years. I want to watch this very short video explaining what is the Iron Dome system of Israel. I'll let you decide if you think Israel will give this system to Ukraine. I assume that this system also destroys long-range rockets, even if it's the Iranian rocket of 700 kilometers and shot from somewhere deep inside Russia. I still think if Iron Dome would be in Ukraine, they would be able to take any missile down that Russia throws at Ukraine. Okay, 41 miles off the battery. I would assume Ukraine would use these systems the same way as Israel. They're not to protect all over the country or the countryside. These systems are meant to protect the very intensely populated city centers like Kiev. The drone attack that happened on Monday morning, I'm pretty sure Iron Dome would have been able to take down every last one of these drones before they hit the city.
Sure.
Okay, this is very clever because Russia misses their target a lot. So if the unit calculates that the missile would not hit populated centers, they would hit somewhere in the field, because Russian missiles just land in random places in the field sometimes. There's no point in paying for a missile to shoot them down. This is very clever to save money. They would only destroy missiles that endanger the populated centers, and they know which one will land in the centers, so they would only target those. I'm very impressed. Something Ukraine desperately needs. If Israel would contribute, this would be the greatest gift they could give to Ukraine. And since Iron Dome is funded by the USA with hundreds of millions of dollars, I think USA has a say in it whether Israel would want to give this system or not. The Crimean bridge is under repairs right now. Supposedly restoring the bridge fully is planned to be finished next year. Yes, it would be like that for months to come, since the damage was much worse than they thought. No trucks are allowed over the bridge, and now even the ferries have stopped crossing the Kerch Strait due to weather since 15th of October. And also all construction has been postponed due to winds. There is no ferry crossing, no trucks over the bridge. The whole Crimean Peninsula has to be supplied with small cars. The foreign ministers of Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania published a joint statement on October 16th, calling on the European Union and other international partners to help Ukraine create a special tribunal that will be responsible for prosecuting the Russian government responsible for this war and the war crimes. I don't know about you, but this reminds me of Nuremberg trials already. There was a shooting in the training fields of freshly mobilized in Russia, Belgorod. Let me tell you the story. 3 Muslim so-called volunteers wanted to write a report that they want to leave the service because it's not their war as Muslims. Upon hearing this, Lieutenant Colonel Lapin stood in front of the line and said, in response to these 3 men, that Allah is a coward if he does not allow his men to fight for the country they have given an oath to. The statement of the Lieutenant Colonel seriously offended the 3 Tajiks. These men were from Tajikistan, which is a Muslim country. These 3 men, during a shooting exercise, actually asked Muslim men to step aside from the group and then open fire on everybody else. There are different reports, but the estimates vary between 10 to 20 kiyas of that one shooting. All 3 Tajiks were shot. This is the outcome when you don't evaluate the mental state of the mobilized. In the Russian mobilization, they actually don't evaluate any medical standards at all, because for them it's not important. If you're a cannon fodder, you don't need to be well from the head or from the body. In this clip, the mobilized complained that there are no commanders. No one has seen them and they don't know what to do now. Someone is always drunk and somebody gave a live weapon to a drunk soldier. I mean, there was one big shooting already in Russia. I'm sure there will be many more after watching this video. Drinking is #1 coping mechanism in all of Russia and Russian culture, and more so in the military. And if you mix together weapons, alcohol and suppressed hatred, I think you get a powder keg waiting to explode. This intercepted call reveals how defensive lines operate for the Russians. First in the line are convicts, people recruited from the prisons of Russia. They are guarded by the second defensive line, which are mobiks, freshly mobilized, who are guarded by the third defensive line, the deepest one, the safest one, who are regular army. There are not many of those left, but some are. Let's listen to the call.
Короче, ребята звонили, вот этот ваш комитет конченый. Нас, говорит, в Украине нету. Представляешь? Мы на обучении.
Мы знаем. Мы уже во все инстанции писали.
The Russian government and the military lied that the troops under their supervision are not in Ukraine. But the troops themselves know that they are in Ukraine, and this information is now coming out as they call home to their girlfriends who didn't know they were sent to Ukraine.
Всем вообще все равно.
Трупов вы тоже не дождались, и их вряд ли пришлют в ближайшее время.
Чего не пришлют?
Мертвых. А их полно, и лебедянских, и липецких.
Обалдеть. Игорек звонил, говорил, там у вас кушать нечего.
Нечего, согласен. Вообще нет еды. У кого денег нет, тот, пшеницу с поля жрет проросшую. И у нас зэков привезли. Их куда-то завели вперед, а мы сидим как заградотряд, Если кто назад побежит...
So the freshly mobilized got their orders that if the convicts right in front of you, if their line collapses or they retreat, you shoot them. And I'm sure the troops behind, the freshly mobilized, the mobiks, the regular army behind them, got the same orders about them. So everybody is watching, breathing in the back of the person in front of them. This is a Soviet system. It's good old KGB handbook.
А у нас так поставлено. То есть мы сидим вторые, охраняем первых. Сзади нас еще линия, туда тоже не вернешься. То есть убежать нереально, свои пристрелят.
So Russian military has set up this security system where each line guards the next line. This is like a pyramid scheme. If the regular army mutinies, everything collapses. Every 1 soldier that Ukraine loses, Russia loses 6.5 soldiers. I mean, this reminds me of Winter War. Every Finnish casualty resulted in 10 Soviet casualties. A little bit more time and we're getting to those numbers in Ukraine. We have information that Russia has closed these 7 areas in the Barents Sea for ships and for planes. They might be doing some nuclear tests in these areas. I recently made an interview or a podcast, however you want to call it, with Jake Broe. The link of this is in the description below. We talked about Ukraine, we talked about Estonia, we talked about NATO and the conflict in general. So if you're interested in that, links in the description below, as well as his channel. My friends, thank you for watching. I'll keep bringing you news from Ukraine. If you like what I do, then the Patreon link is in the description below, as well as Knock 'em Out Cold merch. Until my next video, Slava Ukraini!